Hello, I'm your host Chisomo from It Starts With a Dream, and this is the show all about crafting your dreams in your everyday life. Today I've got a special guest, Joddie Taylor. Joddie has helped me reinvent the story I have with movement, so basically seeing exercise in a new way, and she shares about how she created her daily movement practice or her daily routine of exercising. It's a really great show. She shares lots of mindset shifts and little things you can do to create a new idea and mindset around exercising and movement. So let's dig in. Hi, I'm Chisomo, your host. This is It Starts With the Dream show, and today I'm interviewing Joddie Taylor. So Joddie came into my life through a group that we were both part of, Passive Income Planner Girl and the Magic Is You coaching program by Michelle and Amy. Some of you might already know it and you might already be part of it too. And if you're not, just definitely check it out. It'll be in the comments. And Joddie is actually also one of my students on the Planners on Demand course, where you learn how to create your own physical planners. And that's how I started to find out about her love of movement or fitness. And she really inspired me. She was telling me about how she basically exercises every day and how it started and how that led into her creating her product around that. I'm just in awe by anyone who actually exercises regularly, as a person who's has their own little battles or challenges with that. So Joddie, would you tell us a little bit about what you mean by daily movement, how you started your habit of moving daily, and some tips for, especially for a person like me who here's something like exercise and there's resistance to it.
Thanks for having me on, Chisomo. So my name is Joddie Taylor. I am one of Chisomo's students in her physical planner course. And yes, we know each other through Michelle and Amy's courses and membership. My fitness journey is a long one. I've been working out on and off for several years, several years. But almost 4 years ago, I started working out consistently and started a daily movement practice. First, I'll define daily movement. It could be a walk. It could be a 5-minute breathing exercise, 5-minute cheer yoga. It could be an hour. It could be a 3-hour hike. So as long as I'm moving every day, I check it off, I write it down. And I found that it was easier for me to move every day as opposed to working out 3 to 5 times a week, because sometimes I would miss it. I would skip it. I would say oh, did I do that workout? Now there's nothing to think about. I just work out every day or do some type of movement every day. So about 4 years ago, I was talking to my cousin and saying oh, I've been, I feel like on this, it was like a cycle. I would have a goal. I want to fit into this dress. I want to lose a certain amount of weight. And I would meet the goal. And the season would change. It would get colder. It'd be like macaroni and cheese season, lasagna, chicken pot pie, and I would gain the weight back. And it seemed to be seasonal. So I realized a couple of things were going on. I was falling off with my working out in the winter, and I could never seem to get a gym schedule going on. And so I kissed a lot of frogs and realized that I liked working out from home. I could do it early in the morning before I went to work. And so basically I found something that I loved and something that was sustainable, and I stuck with it. And I have to mention Millionaire Hoy. I always mention I have the Hoy Pro app, but he's also on YouTube. And now he actually has a YouTube channel with his wife. She just lost 50 pounds over the last year. And so they're doing something there. So find something you love is the moral of the story. Find something you can do that you love to do. In my case, that means doing it every day, but you can define what type of movement works best for you. I feel like you had another question. Did I answer everything?
Yeah, so you mentioned Millionaire Hoy, and I know you've talked about there being it was 100-day challenge.
Yes.
So how did that help with that, I guess, building that consistency? And was that the first time you'd ever worked out every day for 100 days?
No, it wasn't the first time I worked out every day for 100 days, but it was the first time I did the same program every day for 100 days. So what I started doing when I first started out with him 4 years ago was the very first thing I ever did with him was a 28 or 30 day, I think it was a 30-day challenge. And so every month I would do a new and different 30-day challenge of his. Sometimes I did 30-day challenges or 28-day challenges with someone else, another online fitness professional. But I found that right around day 25, I would start to think like, oh, what am I going to do next month? And I would start to kind of check out and phone it in. So the science says that it takes 66 days for a habit to stick. Not just do it, but like for it to stick. And so last year, in the heights of the pandemic, he had this 100-day break. It's called Breakthrough 100-day challenge. So it was 100 days straight. And that changed my mindset. I was very familiar with his workouts. So I was kind of always doing the same thing. And with the 100-day challenge, I realized, like, first of all, I can do more than 30 minutes. So after 16 days, I changed to the 60-minute challenge and I started lifting heavier weights. I started doing, I'm the queen of modifications, but I started doing the regular moves, the ones that weren't modified. I just found with 100 days or like 90 days to go, 80 days to go, I just pushed myself more. So having a longer, I guess, runway helped for me to stick to it and have bigger goals. Yeah. And then around day 62, I hit my sweet spot and it just clicked. And I was like, yes, this is it. So since then, I've progressed a lot. I should say, even though I've been working out consistently most days in the last 4 years, it's only since the 100-day challenge that I've continued to progress and push myself and do less modifications and do harder challenges. I was always doing his beginner and intermediate challenges, and now I've moved up to the advanced.
Woo. Wow. Yeah. So when you were telling me, about the challenge and you were creating your planner, which is a 100-day challenge planner, and it's a place to pick something and then do it every day and tick it off. Yes, I was going to say, pop it up. Okay. I was really blown away by that you would exercise every day. And I think for me, I booked you. We've had a few calls where you accountability calls, and just basically you help people get into or back into or create movement as part of their routines. And you have like one-off calls, you do like 100-day accountability, 30-day accountability. So I had like one of those jumpstart one-off calls, then I had another follow-up. And something that came up was I realized like how I saw movement it's probably how a lot of us see movement, where you think exercise and you're thinking like half an hour, 1 hour classes, you're thinking like body pump or basically working until you're in pain, until you're just like lying on the floor. And also for me, like thinking back into my 20s when I used to go to the gym, it was more like, oh, okay, I'm going on holiday, so I'm gonna like go to the gym now every day for 30 days running up to the holiday. And it was always just for, I guess, outward things, which was like mostly weight loss and mostly because of feeling like I need to look a certain way. I need to, be in line with a certain standard or beauty standard. Especially when you get on holiday, you're going to be wearing, more revealing clothes, shorts and stuff. You're on the beach. So I had those kind of mindsets where I was thinking exercise equals working out extremely for short periods of time to a certain goal, and then afterwards kind of like usually just fall off it. And definitely as I've grown and I've had my children, when I had my children, for me it was like a catalyst of like thinking about what I wanted to end and what I wanted to create new with them. And though they're boys, I realized some of my thinking was not helpful, and it's not a helpful mindset to think, and I don't want to pass that on. So we was looking at how I look at exercise or food and the language I use. and changing it, and also not wanting to be doing yo-yo diets as a mom, and that's what my children see. Oh, mum can't eat this week because we're going on a party, and then oh, mum is eating everything now. Those were not things I wanted them to see and to think is normal. Maybe expect that from their girlfriends or partners or whatever, or for themselves, because actually boys and men also have eating disorders or negative views of their bodies. So I loved when we had our call and you were talking about movement, and I think I set up and I started, and then I was like, oh, I think I felt really bad, like I'd failed myself because I didn't stick with it. And then you were like, okay, what were you trying to do? And I think at the start I was like trying to do like what's his name? Dance. The guy who did Joe Wicks. I was doing Joe. From a person who's really quite sedentary, like I don't do much exercise, I went straight into Joe Wicks, from just doing normal mum stuff and like going out the weekend with the kids, walking around, go to see something, but went from that kind of thing, and then lockdown, then into Joe Wicks, and I probably lasted 5 days, and then it just was like, whoa. And I think I really beat myself up about it. And then you helped me to see that actually movement can mean a lot of things. And you were talking about, like you just said, movement for you could be like sitting in a chair and doing seated yoga, or doing some stretches from a sitting position, or going for a walk. And that's really helped me, because it's been a journey of unlearning, because I've had these thoughts for probably a decade or longer. So it takes time to sort of start to see things in a new way. Did you always think like that, or like how did you start to think or like look at exercise and movement in this new way, in a different way, which is much kinder and more loving to ourselves?
Yeah, same. I had similar experiences where I was like, oh, I have to do this. I'm going to lose weight for this thing. I'm going to be fit. And then I would always fall off. And so when I had that conversation with my cousin 4 years ago, I realized this is a journey. There is no end. Before, I always approached it like, there's going to be this event, there's going to be this thing I'm going to fit in. And I realized it's a journey. There is no end. It's like a marathon. I'm going to get to a hill, and there's going to be another hill, and then there's going to be a mountain, and there's going to be a valley. And I accepted that. And accepting it made it much more easier to have fun and enjoy my workouts, and it not be a chore. I also realized after a few months that my mental health was much better. PMS symptoms were really alleviated. So there were benefits besides the physical, my mental health and taking care of myself. That really helped me realize that I can take my time and I don't have to beat myself up.
Yeah.
I also think that you have to know yourself, like really know yourself. Like there's nothing wrong with doing Joe Wick, but do modifications. You don't have to do exactly what he's doing. And then when you're ready, when you've progressed, you can go, do the full thing. So think of it as a journey. This is how I did it. Not overnight. This is just, years later, looking back, I thought of it as a journey. I saw the benefits outside of the physical, like my mental health. And I want to be my mom's age and older, in my 70s and 80s and 90s and 100 years old, and still be really fit, and be able to move around and be independent, and also know where you are. We were going through a pandemic. You were homeschooling. Life was upside down. So maybe walks are okay. Maybe easing into it is okay, and just have one intense day. Just, you have to be. No, you don't have to do anything. But I like to say, be gentle with yourself.
Yeah. I remember listening to your advice and your tips. So I really, I just took it down to like the most basic or simplest, like I would say 5 minutes of movement. And because I remember at one point I was trying to do some workouts, and I basically found them really hard. I also have the additional challenges of having an autoimmune disease that's kind of like arthritis, spondylitis. It doesn't quite tick everything, so they don't, but it's basically like ankylosing spondylitis, where I have body stiffness and swelling, and over time the spine can like completely fuse, so movement is like very limited. I have like a bit like curvature of the upper spine, so those things had made it hard to like, even when I see a beginner's workout, I would try it. I'm like, maybe a beginner who has no kind of health challenges, and I can get discouraged where I feel like I can't even do a beginner challenge. So I had come from a place of like having my kids and then having all these symptoms that almost came overnight after I gave birth to my first son. So it's like 10 years ago. And then having to go on this journey of finding out, okay, why am I in pain? Why does everything hurt? Why can I not do the things that all my other mum friends are doing, which does affect how you feel about your body, which affected for me how I felt about movement or exercise. I didn't even want to move because I was in so much discomfort and pain. As the kids got older and I didn't have to pick them up and do all the lifting and carrying and all those things, I did start to feel better because I had less physical strain. So when I was coming into movement, it was just like, I can't even do this beginner one. And I kept feeling like something's wrong with me. And then you were very like just encouraging and just going, well, you don't have to do what the workout guy's doing. Like, you can modify it, and that's fine to modify it. And I mean, like, you just always encouraged me. And even though I only had a couple of calls, like, I can still, when I'd be thinking something, your little voice in my head, like a little angel on the shoulder going, but you don't have to do like that, like modify it. And and I think it's this thing about being kind to ourselves and gentle. And it's a journey. And that really helped me, because then I just really scaled it back to like very, very simple things. Like I said, 5 minutes at the start, and you gave me some, you told me about like workouts where you didn't have to jump and low impact on joints or even seated. And it changed how I saw exercise, because if I ever heard exercise, I always connected it with something that's high impact, cardio, weightlifting. I never like considered exercises, just doing like a few stretches, like a few head rolls and, twists or whatever. I didn't even count that as exercise. That was really great when you talked about that. And then also another thing with exercise being linked with, you said like an end goal of like trying to fit into something. That was another hang up I had, where it was like in the past, I thought if I couldn't do this workout the way the teacher's doing it, then it was pointless. Like, if I couldn't do this 30-minute workout exactly how he or she's doing it, then there was no point in me doing it. And that made me not even try. Like, I'll try it and I'll be like, I can't do this properly. So I wouldn't even try after that. So I had this all or nothing mentality, which is just not helpful if you want to grow in life, in anything. If you're like all or nothing, even if you're bothering to try to, make, good whole food based meals, you're not going to bother. If you can't do it perfectly, you don't try anymore. If you try and go for a goal in life and you're learning a new skill and you can't do it the first few times, you don't even bother. It's such a damaging mindset, all or nothing. How did you come to like basically not come out of that mindset with movement?
Yeah. First of all, I didn't know how just out of shape I was. So one of the first Millionaire Hoy videos I did, I think, was advanced. And I was like, sure, I can do that. And I couldn't. And I was absolutely crushed that I couldn't do, like, he has some moves where it looks like he's breakdancing. He's like spinning on the floor. And I'm like, I can't do it. And I was really upset and kind of down about it. But I had decided that I was going to work out every day. I had decided I was going to do this challenge. So he has modifications. And even if you're doing, if you're in the gym in person or a virtual class and they don't have modifications, your body, the range of motion that you can do that. Start there. So I accepted it, which was a hard pill to swallow, but I did. And I just did modifications. little asterisk there is I did modifications, but like I was saying earlier, I did them so long that I got to a point where I wasn't pushing myself past it. I wasn't even trying the right moves. So just as you go along, just kind of check in with yourself. Could I try? Sometimes you can pick up a heavier weight or do a funky dance move that you haven't tried before. And if it's too much, stop. I also phone in my workouts sometimes, meaning I'm just not that into it. And, again, know yourself. For me, I know that if I stop and just give up, I might not do the workout the next day, but you're always learning something. So even if you're doing a modification or you're not gung-ho, it's not going to be the next time you do a similar workout, it's not going to be the first time that you do the move. So to answer your question, I found that I could modify and that I could start where I was. So I have a 1 pound dumbbell. Sometimes I used 2 pounds. And I would just do that, especially because my shoulders hurt sometimes. Actually, it's a lot better now, knock on wood. So I started with 1 pound doing move, and I found that I could do the form. And now those shoulder moves, I'm up to 5 and 8 pounds. So I had I don't want to say a physical limitation, but it was hurting. But I realized okay, what can I do? I can do it with no weight. I can do it with a lighter weight, and I can progress. It's better than doing nothing. And years ago, when I first started working out, sorry, there's an airplane.
Someone's going on holiday. Yeah, it's gone now.
So years ago, when I first started working out, I wasn't working out. I was just watching the workouts. It came up on accidentally. I was watching something on the Health Channel, and Galad's workout program came on. He's based in Hawaii. He used to have these workouts on the beach. And so I was like, oh, and I watched it. I was probably literally eating potato chips or something like that. And I watched it. And then I got into the habit of watching it. I think he used to come on every Wednesday and Thursday, or every night at the same time. And then after about a week or so, maybe even 2, I started getting up and doing the moves. No workout clothes, nothing, just, in my regular clothes. And then I started getting up and doing those workouts in my underwear. And then I eventually bought workout clothes. So you can start where you are, even if that means just watching some videos or going. I have been known even this past year to just go and stand outside. I can do that. I can stand outside and get some vitamin D. I'm not even going for a walk. So know yourself, know where you are, be gentle with yourself, and start something, even if it's just kind of like watching, spectating, or just standing as opposed to walking outside.
I know when you told me about just watch some of these workouts you suggested, I found that so strange. I was like, what's the point in watching? But I watched a few, and it's just it's like warming yourself up to it. And there's something powerful about, I think, watching and what you see, and then creating and pictures in your mind. And I'm only now thinking maybe it's all related, but what you see, it now becomes, I guess, possible. You see it, so it's okay, I can do that. People are doing that. I can do that. And I think it somehow makes it in your mind oh, that's possible, because you see it. So that was really helpful. So I did watch a few things at the start, and then sometimes I would do some of them, and then sometimes I couldn't do it, and then I would just I don't know, march on the spot instead. I would just do my own fillers in between when I couldn't do it. Or I'd do what they're doing, but without the jumping. So I would just literally do it in a very slow way and do it. But it's been a journey, because, it's taken me, it's been 4 months of me going, okay, I want to bring this in for a number of reasons. For me, a big reason is to do with the health condition, because I have seen my friend's dad who has it, and he's completely bent over, completely bent over, and he did something and his spine shattered, and it was just oh my goodness, if I can do anything to help myself, I need to start doing it now. I don't want that to be me. So keep it. And even my rheumatologist has always said, they've always said like movement it keeps that mobility and the flexibility in the spine, so it's very, very, very helpful to managing symptoms. So that was for me, like I picked ones that focus mostly on like keeping flexible mobility in my back, in my spine, my pelvis, and neck and shoulders. And you also had some great recommendations for that. And I really started with more, I guess, like stretches and stretching types of movement, like yoga, Pilates. And I never considered that exercise in the past. I really didn't. And that's what I've been getting into, and I've been enjoying that. Like that's been feeling good for my body and my, limitations and conditions. And I'm finding like I'm getting a bit more, flexible. I can kind of bend down more. I can hold the pose a little bit longer, things like that. So it's like little bits of progress. So at the moment, I do more of that stretching, so it's not really raising my heart levels much. And now recently I've introduced a bit more cardio, and literally when I say a bit more, I'm like 5 minutes, or even if I could jump on do some jumping jacks or something. And it's redefined for me, like I'm seeing movement in a completely new way, and that's what I've gotten the most out of our calls and your support. Is that I see movement in a new way where it feels so much lighter. It feels so much more like doable. I also made myself a little planner because I'm all about the planners too. It's tracker, and I basically just write down like the different things I want to do that are to do with like for me, self-care and the things that make me feel good, mind, body, and soul. So like reading my Bible, or doing affirmations, movement, and then I've been ticking it off. And I found like having something in place to tick it off and to track, it's also helped me being consistent, because it's like I wanted to put the tick. So for me, I'm like, if I even like I've counted going to the shops and walk around the shops for like 2 hours. I'm like, I got my movement in and I'm ticking it, and I'm just seeing it in a different way, and it feels so much lighter. And that's I think like that's been my biggest breakthrough. And that's great for me. Like I think it's how we see things, isn't it? Because when you see exercise as kind of mostly punishment, it always felt like it was coming from I've been bad, I need to like make up for this bad thing I've done of eating too much, or eating or I'm not good enough because I'm not the weight that I feel like is acceptable in society, so I now need to exercise because I'm not good enough. And now it's coming from a more of okay, I want to take care of my body, I want to feel better, I want to also be an example to my family, and it's coming from a much more loving place, and it feels better. It feels better. Yeah.
Isn't it funny, what you said about your progress? Even if you do a little bit a day, you will reach a point where you'll do something that you never did before, that you couldn't do. Like I've been doing, another person that I love in the fitness world is Sarah Beth Yoga. And I had done this video so many times, and there was a move where you basically move side to side without standing. And I could never do it. I was always falling. And the other attitude change that I had last year was to think about just play and just have fun. I was very stressed out during yoga. Like if I couldn't get, this is just last year. So I am evolving myself. I too am evolving. And I'd be like, I didn't get it. And I said, I'm just going to play and have fun. And I forgot about it. I detached myself, like Michelle would say. And lo and behold, one day the move came up, and without thinking about it, I did it. And I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. And I hadn't done that video in a while. I hadn't been working on it, but I had been walking. I had been doing jumping jacks and doing other little things. And it all adds up. And then one day you can do something that you didn't think that you could do.
Yeah, and I have been doing Sarah Beth's hip mobility. You sign up for it, and then it's a free, but you just sign up and it's free. And I have been doing that as well. I've been like enjoying hip mobility, because it's just, for for me, like I literally have been like rigid, just like I can't move. Like this has been my posture almost. And then also from stress and postnatal depression, it was like I felt like I was emotionally like just in that kind of, now I'm just like relaxing, having more fun, play, you know, it's just for fun, it's experimenting, I'm learning something new. It's okay if I'm not very good, it's, you know, building on it. It's it's a lot better, isn't it?
One of the things that Sarah Beth actually recently said, I think it might have been in an email, but she just released a series of breathing routines in collaboration with someone else. But she has a few breathing routines on her app and on YouTube as well. Breathing is yoga. It is a form of movement and exercise. So if you have a day where you're busy or you're not up to it, or you just need to chill, do 5 minutes breathing and reset your mind. We're talking about daily movement, but it really comes down to our mindset and our mental health. So just start where you are. And going back to watching the video, sometimes I'll put on a workout video and just have it in the background. And I think it's kind of like a subconscious thing, or I'll walk by and be like, oh, I want to do that move. I'm going to come back and do this one, you know, like, or you just know what to expect. Like, oh, later on, she's going to do that move. So if you are thinking about doing movement and you're not quite ready, the internet is amazing. You some frogs. And again, it takes 66 days, 60 days or so.
Just the airplanes. That's fine. You're saying it takes 66 days or so to build
a habit. So spoiler alert. So I think a lot of times people go into trying to build a new habit, and you know, we're gung-ho, like you said. I'm gonna start Joe Wig, I'm gonna get this membership. And even if you say you're gonna do a 100-day challenge, it's one day at a time. So just take your time, you know, give yourself room and think of it as a journey. It's not like the end all be all.
Yeah, that's definitely helped. And I think for me, I've been telling myself I'm going to do it every day. And then some days I don't. I just do my normal day-to-day stuff, like washing dishes and all that. And I've just been like, it's fine. There's tomorrow. And tomorrow's a new day. And I don't know why, but it's helped me. Like the next day I'll do it and I won't feel bad like, oh, I missed a day. In the past I've just been really like, oh, I missed a day, like I didn't do it. This all or nothing, trying to get 100% on the test marks type of mindset I had. Like I always wanted to get 100%. I was always trying to be like the top of the class. But it doesn't help you just when you are actually navigating life to always think that's the only thing to aim for, and then to feel bad because you don't. So I've just been like, I move every day. And if there's a day where I am quite in the house and I don't, it's like, okay, it's fine. There's tomorrow. And it's kind of taken on the mindset of like, I'm a person who moves. Okay, this sounds weird, but it's like, I'm a person that moves every day. I'm a person that moves. And a person who does, and that's part of their life, they miss one day, it's not the end of the world, because they're like, there's tomorrow. And they know that it's part of life. And there's days where you won't, and there will be the rest of the time when you do. And it's just like, it's fine. There's tomorrow. It's a new day. What happened today doesn't have to dictate tomorrow or impact or influence tomorrow. And that's been a very freeing kind of mindset for me as well, to just have that in mind. So there's been weeks where I've done like, I guess 5 or 6. And then there's like last week was 3 times. But I'm like, well, 4 months ago, you didn't even do once a week. So 3 times is amazing. And I'm like celebrating myself for that. Instead of being like, oh, you said you're going to do it every day and you only did it 3 times. Now I'm just like, you did it 3 times 6 months ago. Like you didn't do anything. Like it's amazing. So I think celebrating your progress, no matter how small you feel it is, like celebrate it and acknowledge what you've done.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yes, set goals and plan, but also, again, be gentle with yourself and have fun. We don't want any hostages. If you are forcing yourself to go through a 10-day challenge or a 100-day challenge, that's not fun. You got to celebrate. And again, for me, for my personality, I'm everyday, right? But you got to know yourself. Some people need to rest, and you don't need to. And when I say I'm moving every day, again, it's not always intense workouts. It could be a 5-minute thing. It could be 10 jumping jacks every time I go to the microwave. I've had days where I've done like 10 squats every couple of hours throughout the day. What I was going to say about the internet earlier is that if you have a physical, you feel like you have some limitation, or you can't quite find the workout you're looking for, there's the internet. And you might, like me, kiss a lot of frogs, but especially on YouTube and just on the World Wide Web, there are so many options. There's just an embarrassment of riches. So try different things, watch them. Almost every fitness membership that I've come across has at least a 7-day free trial membership. So you could, if you want to do more than what's on YouTube. But we have so many options today. As the world opens up and you can head back to gyms, but if you want to get a taste, the internet's a great place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I found lots of good stuff, even on Instagram, where people do these like very quick, like 1-minute videos, and you get like a carousel, and you just swipe through the images, and then they're just showing you like 5 things you can do for like hunched shoulders, which is what I have experienced. And there's loads of great stuff on there, and they're like very quick to watch, and then like you can just try it and just do one of it, and it's very quick. So I like making a saved with all the different movements I'm finding on Instagram. And then I'll also go and see if that person has like a YouTube, and maybe they've got like a full-length thing. But it's been a great resource. And then I have mixed up like free things, and I've also mixed up with paid things, because I think sometimes, like for me, I think when I've paid for something, it's encouraged me to make use of it. But it's been a mixture of like trying things out as well. And there's some that I'm like, oh, I just don't like this. I don't like the way the movements feel. Like they've got a lot of like, I don't know, not twisting, but you're trying to do like 3 things at once. And I've just been like, you know what, this is not for me. Let me just have something that's so simple, where it's like a jumping jack, and there's no having to think of how do you do a jumping jack. So it's finding what you enjoy and just experimenting. And then when you come across something you enjoy, like save it, and then keep looking and keep trying.
Definitely have fun with it. Don't be like me or how I used to be and get, we're just competing with ourselves. It's you against me versus me. So if you're in a yoga pose and you fall out, chuckle and keep going. If you can't do something, just say, oh, maybe, I'll do that later. Certainly have goals, but if it's not fun, then it just becomes a drag and like a punishment and a chore. And we're moving away from that and moving towards our best selves. And our best selves, has fun and enjoys her workout.
Yeah, and I think that idea of like who our best self is, that's really helpful. Like, it might sound strange, but for months I would picture myself waking up and doing movement in the morning before I ever did it. Like for months I would picture it, and I would like imagine, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'll do that, and I pictured it, and then this, now I was like thinking, I'm doing what I was picturing. Like now I'm doing it, and thinking, like, okay, who's the person that I want to be, and how do they feel, and how do they see movement or whatever it is I'm working on? How do they view it? And when I think of me, my best self, she's a person that loves to move because it feels good, because it's like that, celebrating like what God has made. Like God has made this amazing body that can do all sorts of things, and it's like a celebration of that. It's like she moves and she has fun, and her children see her doing it and join her. She moves and she gets stronger, and playing football rounders or something. I was playing rounders in the park. That is not something I've done in I can't even remember the last time I did something like that. So it was like very fun. And when I think about who she is, like these are things that she does. It's part of her day. It's part of her life. And she doesn't get hung up on it. And if she misses a day, there's the next day. So I'm just like, okay, let me embody that. Let me just start to be that woman who sees movement in that way.
Yeah, the thing I love about everything you just said is the woman you're talking about is you. The person you have in mind is not a celebrity. It's not a fitness model or influencer or trainer. It's you, your best, highest self. You're in that vision. So of course it's going to happen because you're seeing yourself. Like whatever you envision, it's like miraculous. It will happen because you've seen it. So you know you can do it. You know you can be it.
So Joddie, it's been really fun to talk to you about movement. I hope whoever's listening, maybe when you hear the title, How to Create a Daily Movement Practice or Routine, you might be freaked out like I was. But I hope by listening, you've had a bit of a mindset shift and you're seeing it in a new way, and that you'll go and experiment and look at how it looks like in your own life and go about creating that. And if you want Joddie's support and encouragement like I've had, Joddie, would you like to tell us about what you offer and where we can find that?
Sure. I do pick my brain calls, which are 45 minutes long, and it's what Chisomo and I have done. And so we'll just talk about where you are, where you want to go. I'll make some suggestions. My expertise is in home workouts. That's my sweet spot.
Yeah.
I should tell you what not to expect. I'm not a certified personal trainer. My experience is totally based on my experience in building a routine of daily movement and the things that I've done over the years. I also do a 30-day accountability practice where I will literally message you every single day. We have an initial call, Zoom call, that's about an hour, and then a celebration call at the end of the month. And so throughout the month, we're talking every day. I'm asking you how it's going. What are you doing for your movement? We have a plan in advance for your movement for the month, and we tweak it perhaps as the month goes on. And then finally, I have a 100-day challenge that I do with clients. And it's similar to 30 days, but of course longer. And I do weekly calls where we're talking about how the week went and we're planning and tweaking. And the basis of all those things is accountability and setting a plan and trying to figure out what movement means to you, your definition, and meeting you where you are. So if you're interested, if you'd like to work with me, I'm on snackysays.com. That's my website. And you can click the work with me button or Planner Girl directory. And Chisomo will have all of those links. On Planner Girl directory, you'll see my profile, and I have a video where you can get a sense of my energy and vibes, similar to what we're doing now. Yeah. Fitness is really my jam, especially working out at home. And I love to help people find their sweet spot and see how approachable movement is. It's not about doing intense workouts. There's nothing wrong with that if you want to, but finding where you are now and what works best for you and what's going to keep you moving on this fitness journey. It's not going to end with our phone call or after 30 days. The whole point is to keep you moving in a way that's meaningful to you and that fits you. So for me, that's every day. For Chisomo, it's a few times a week and building rest in and playing with her kids. So that's a little bit about what I do.
Great. Thank you, Joddie.